I have expectations, and you have expectations. These expectations come from our world that is all based on doing. So, like, even a simple thing like when you're driving, you expect the other person to stop at the stoplight. And with these expectations, it creates a certain flow in our community because laws are obeyed and those expectations are met. But we've taken that expectation on the things we do and then force that onto our feelings. So this pattern that is effective and appropriate in the world of, operating machinery, doing a surgery, the do things, it's efficient and appropriate. But when you transfer those expectations to feelings, I expect you to feel this way. I expect you to be happy. I expect you to be appreciative. I expect you to be angry because of something I did or say, which is the do part of reality. That doesn't work. Think of your own experiences. Individuals have placed their expectations of what you should be feeling on you. Then you're left there, if your feelings don't match their expectations, there's this gap. And it's a gap in your reality. And then you're left with a choice. Well, do I change and pretend I'm the feeling that is expected of me? Or do I speak my truth and say, no, I don't feel like that at all. Actually, I feel this other. And risk disapproval. Now, most of us choose to just go along with this expectation game when it comes to our feelings. And we do that because that's that's what we've been taught. Second, it's the appropriate and beneficial when you're looking and working in the activities. When you're in the do world, expectations are appropriate. But when you're in the feelings, expectations have a tendency to trip you up because you have to fib. If you don't feel like you're expected to feel, then you have to become somebody you're not. And then once you've become somebody you're not once, then the expectation shows up again. Maybe from the same person or another person. And then before you know it, everybody thinks you're this particular person, whatever the expectation is, whether that be good or bad. I've met a lot of bad people who are actually very good, but they got this expectation for so long that they should feel a certain way, and they didn't. And they go, no, I actually feel this other way. The individuals around them labeled them bad. That's that rejection thing. And they're going, well, I'm going to be true to myself. rather than fit somebody else's expectations. And individuals like that are often misunderstood. Now, so we're at a situation now where you're going, okay, Leon, we're not going to do the expectation thing anymore in our feelings. So that's out the window. What are we going to do? We've got a blank slate here. We've never been taught anything else. We've never experienced, we've never witnessed it. Because our culture is like this. And when we read about other cultures, they very often have the same do thing. But when we come across something in another culture and it's about feelings, and they don't put that expectation on their feelings, we don't understand it. So Americans have a tendency to just kind of skip over that. And I think the first thing we can do is to get in touch with our feelings. And when somebody places an expectation on us, is to do two things. One, ask, why would you expect me to feel that way? And the second thing is to say, or a second option, I don't think you'd do both at the same time, you could, but a second option would be, you know, I happen to feel something else. I happen to feel blank, and put your true feeling in there. And say, how do you feel about that? Don't ask them what they think, because then they're going to go back to the do. Ask them how they feel. So actually, I don't feel that way. I feel this other way. How do you feel about that? And then we start a dialogue about our feelings. And until we start talking about our feelings, we're never going to discover our feelings. We're never going to learn to appreciate and understand our feelings. And until we can identify and discover our feelings and become familiar and comfortable with them, we can't change them. We can't change who we are. We can change what we do. But I've known a lot of people who have changed jobs, who have changed everything they do and are still unhappy. That are still walk around and go, I feel hollow inside. They change what they do, but they're not changing who they are. They're not changing their feelings. They're taking that same set of feelings, or suppression of feelings, or lack of knowledge of their feelings, from one experience to another. So the first thing to do is to stop doing that. Just stop doing it. And say, well, I actually don't feel that way. I feel this. How do you feel about it? Or ask them, why do you feel that I would have that feeling? Not why do you think I would feel that way? Because then you're back into the do thing. Because the do is done with the intellect and your ego. And those two do not, on many occasions, connect to your heart and soul.